So for those of you that are doing this part of the lesson asynchronously, I felt like you needed just a little bit more support with understanding what we're going to be looking at here. And so I decided to record a little screencast for you. This is the first time I'm doing a screencast, so have some patience with me, and I hope that it goes okay and that I'm able to explain this part of the lesson for you well enough. So let's see, I want to, here we go. So we are going to be looking at two different models of looking at conflict. Actually, wait, I'm going to come back here to full screen. We're going to be looking at two different models of conflict. Now, these are just two different ways of looking at conflict. It's not like one is correct and one is incorrect, or one is better than the other. It's just that in certain situations, one is one way of looking at a conflict and the other is a different way of looking at conflicts. And so I think you'll find them both interesting and helpful. Okay, so here we go again. I'll put myself off to the side. The first one we're looking at is called the conflict cycle. A cycle is something that goes around in a circle. Okay, and so this explains conflict as a cycle. It starts out here at calm. This is before you have a conflict. Everything is calm. There's nothing wrong. Nothing has happened yet. But then you have some kind of an agitation. Something happens to shake things up and to cause some kind of upset. Okay? Between people, you may see signs of distrust, like somebody's suspicious that somebody did something to them. There may be gaps in communication and needs, like they're not communicating properly. There may be a situation where just a message isn't getting through properly, or that somebody has done something that the other person finds bothersome. Okay, the next station here we have is harmful action or language. Okay, so things are starting to get worse. All right, somebody who's gotten upset does some kind of harmful language or says something to the other person. We have continuing escalation, okay? Haslama, things are getting worse. This is really the high point of the crisis, you could say. You have a fragmentation within the relationships, okay, that people are saying maybe I don't want to be your friend anymore, or I don't want to have anything to do with you, or you're making me angry, okay, and their needs are not met, and strong emotions are often displayed here. There may be crying, there may be physical harm, there may be, things are getting worse. After that, you start to move towards a conflict resolution. Okay, and I'm not saying that this necessarily comes right after. It might be years before you start to move towards resolution, or it could come right after. Start to talk things out and moving towards a solution. The final stage is a recovery. Solutions are derived, okay, you figure out solutions, the needs of both sides are fulfilled, and the relationships are restored, and after that, you come back full circle to calm. Okay, so you've gone around in a circle, and you might have a situation where, again, say like if you're in a relationship between two friends, and you get back to calm, and then something else will happen, either the next day, the next week, the next year, but conflict is kind of like a cycle, okay, and it goes from calm to agitation, harmful language, escalation, conflict resolution, recovery, and back to calm. It's not always smooth. Sometimes one stage lasts much longer than another stage, but they talk about this model like a circle or a cycle. Okay? Now, in this lesson, when you're doing this independently, you're going to work here on a scenario. Okay? It's a situation between two students, and you are going to have to label here which stage is each one of these, okay? And we will go over that later. Right now, I just want to be able to explain the two models to you. The second model is called the conflict spiral. And wait, let me move the screen down because it actually starts at the bottom here. Okay, so the conflict spiral really, and you can see here on the left side of the page, there's an escalation, okay? It starts at the bottom and it spirals upwards. These steps are not necessarily sequential, all right? So you might not have the steps in this particular order. Also, they can occur at the same time, right? You might have one thing happening at the same time as another one of these stages. Or they could be in a different order. Or some of the steps might be skipped altogether. Okay, so let's start here down at the bottom. As a conflict occurs, many of the ways people communicate and act end up escalating it, okay, making the conflict worse. They make demands and judgments, people place blame, and physically hurt one another. These are actions that cause people to respond in similar ways, often even more destructively. The result is that the conflict spirals out of control, unless someone takes active steps to resolve the conflict in a positive way. Okay, so what is this spiral that we're talking about? It starts with a disagreement, okay? And again, they may not be in this particular order. Next, the person equals the problem, meaning you begin to focus on the person as the reason for your anger and not necessarily the disagreement, okay? Saying, he made me angry, not that thing he did made me angry. Specific issues to general issues. So you get mad at the person for everything they do, not just because of the disagreement. The next stage we have here, indirect communication, meaning one side or both sides negatively talk about the person with others. There will be negative interaction with the person. The next stage we have described here is exaggerated reactions, reacting negatively to anything that the other person does. A lack of trust, perceiving the person and their actions in a negative light. And finally, here we have hostility. When you don't want to have anything to do with the person, violence may occur. Okay, so this is the spiral. Okay, this model isn't like the cycle, okay? We're not seeing where it leads back to some kind of a resolution and a return to calm. This model only looks at the escalation and different stages of the escalation. And here, you're going to be looking at another practice exercise in order to practice the stages of the conflict spiral. And again, that you will do independently. Okay, so that is the end of my first screencast. I hope I succeeded in explaining the conflict spiral and the conflict cycle to you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me as you're doing the lesson. See you soon. Bye-bye.